Good afternoon, and thank you for coming to our press conference today. It's an exciting day for Storm basketball as we usher in this new era for us, and we welcome our new head coach, Sonia Raman, to get us. Woo! That's right. To get us started, I'll pass it off to our general manager, Talisa Rhea, to say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming so much. We're happy to have you here at our beautiful practice facility as we welcome Sonia as our new head coach to the Storm. Our interview process was extensive. We talked to a diverse candidate pool with a wide range of experiences, but it was clear from the first conversation we had with Sonia that there was real alignment and the potential for a wonderful partnership. Sonia is a trailblazer, and learning about her road and her career path to getting here to Seattle was really moving. And furthermore, her vision for us and where we could go was very exciting. She's competed at many levels and has many unique experiences, and we're excited to now build on that here in Seattle. We quickly learned that everyone shares that sentiment about Sonia. Her commitment to building relationships and pouring into players and those around her has been and will continue to be at the core of her leadership. This was really important for us when we talk about how we can build successful teams together here in Seattle. On the court, Sonia is a leader in analytics and player development, two critical areas as our game continues to grow and evolve. She's innovative, forward-thinking, and committed to the development of players individually and collectively as a group. This is a really exciting offseason for us here in Seattle, across the league. The growth of our game continues to be remarkable. I'm really thrilled to partner here with Sonia as we enter this new era and continue to build on the Storm legacy. So please join me again in welcoming our new head coach, Sonia Raman.
Thank you, Talisa. Hi, everybody. This is a very exciting day for me and my family. I'm here with a lot of gratitude and joy and some nerves. I'd like to thank Talisa, Alicia Valavanis, and the Visionary Ownership Group of the Seattle Storm for giving me this opportunity. It was clear as I went through this process that there is a reason this organization has a championship tradition, and it starts with the people. This is a place that exudes excellence, fosters collaboration, and the care factor here is incredible. Seattle is a premier women's basketball city, steeped in community with an unrivaled fan base. Getting to walk around the Storm facility yesterday, just starting to meet everyone here, it really has me so pumped to get started. I think you will learn that relationships are a foundation of who I am as a coach and as a person. With that, I'd like to thank some people who have been really impactful for me along the way in my journey. Most recently, to Sandy Brondello, Jonathan Kolb, and the entire Liberty organization, thank you for being the group that welcomed me to the NBA, or the WNBA, and allowed me to continue to grow as a coach. Thank you to Taylor Jenkins, Rich Cho, Zach Kleiman, and the Memphis Grizzlies for giving me my start in the professional ranks that really changed everything for me. I'd also like to thank everyone at MIT, Wellesley College, and Tufts University, where I spent a combined 20 years getting to do what I love every day. To all the players I have coached and the coaches that I have been in the trenches with along the way, thank you for making me better. To my agents, Andy Latak and Steve Neff, I appreciate you. And finally, a huge thank you to my family and friends, my mom and my dad and my brother Nathan, my wife Milena and her family who are from just north of Seattle. Thank you for your love and support and for being on this journey with me.
Thank you, Coach. All right, we will start with the media questions. Kevin Pelton, go ahead.
Talisa, you talked about the process, but sort of what did you learn from the interview process and what led you to Sonia?
I think broadly I learned that there's a ton of interest in the WNBA and where our league is at is in a really exciting place. And for the Storm specifically, just how much respect there is across basketball for what our ownership group and everyone before us has built here. So that was really exciting to have those conversations. With Sonia, I think there was just immediate alignment on how she approaches first and foremost relationships, which is where we always start, and so that being the foundation of how we can move forward and how we can connect with players and really get the best out of them individually and collectively as a team as we try to build and move forward. That stood out, and then her background and experiences, I think, just bring a different perspective that we haven't had here. And so, as I mentioned, the game is evolving and changing so much. To be able to have someone who's so forward thinking with how we integrate analytics and how we develop our players was what we were looking for.
Percy Allen, this Times in Seattle. Hey, if you could talk about just a bit, just the going through this sort of coaching hiring process for the first time. Just was it a collaborative effort? Did it take longer than you want? Did you have a sort of shared history with Sonia? Just how did that go for you?
Yeah, it was definitely collaborative. It always is. Shout out to Alicia, Lisa, the rest of our ownership group for being involved along the way. Sonia and I do have a previous relationship. Sonia's been able to spend some time coming back to practices over the past, not this past year, but the few years before that. And so, we were acquainted with each other, and that definitely helped, having a familiarity and a foundation. And obviously, Sonia's familiarity with us as an organization and Seattle as a broader community definitely helped kickstart things.
Andrew Destin with the Associated Press. A question for you, Sonia. When you were going through the interview process, what exactly, as much as you can, the vision that you have for this team, the core that's in place, how do you tangibly want to take this team to the next step? What is kind of that vision you have for this group?
I think that this team, this organization, there's such a rich history here. And so first and foremost, building on that, connecting with the players, connecting with the staff, building those relationships and learning what we have and what we can do going forward. But I think Talisa mentioned it, the player development aspect of it is tremendous for me and in my background. I think it starts there. I think the relationships then build into the player development. We'll incorporate analytics, as she mentioned, as well as some other areas. And all of that is to unlock their full potential so that we can be the best we can be on the offensive side, on the defensive side, in the special teams. How do we win in the margins? How can we be intentional about how we train to get there, to have our teams compete every day, to bring toughness and resilience, to do it together, to really prioritize getting better, and to do all of that with joy. So that's sort of the overarching vision, and of course the nuts and bolts will come as we go.
Lisa Woodward, Storm Broadcast. I always think a team takes on the personality of a coach, and you kind of mentioned that, building on what you were just talking about. What's your personality like? How does that infuse into your team?
I think first and foremost, again, it's the joy, right, that I want to bring into the building every day, and the energy. So it starts there. I love basketball. I'm so passionate about the game and getting to coach it every day. So we will feel that, and this place will feel that with me every day. And I think that's where it starts, but also there's a competitive side to it, and there's a side of me that's always going to be as prepared as possible. So blending all of those things in together to then create these teams that will be tough and resilient and incredibly prepared and ready to find ways, again, to whether it's a scout defense, right, or it's something in particular that we want to attack on the other team and be intentional about it. But it's all of those things.
Welcome, Coach. Dick Fain, Storm Broadcast. I'm fascinated by your resume, particularly you going into the NBA and then going to the W after that. Maybe talk about your decision to go to the NBA. Why was that made? And then why was it made to go from the NBA to the WNBA? And what did you learn in the NBA?
So my decision to go to the NBA, I think it came from my passion for basketball, and I'm a hoop junkie. So my time at MIT, I absolutely loved coaching student athletes. I was a coach, I was a compliance officer as well. I had to wear a lot of hats there, and I really enjoyed doing it. But I went through the process with the Grizzlies, and I got to know their GM, the head coach, in the interview process. And the further I got into the process, the more I started to understand how I could get out of my comfort zone a little bit, do something new, tap into the growth mindset that I was constantly preaching to my players to have, and sort of take this jump, take this risk, and get to dive in and just be a basketball coach, right? And have unlimited resources, have all of the data that could be possibly available to somebody to solve problems and find ways to help the organization to impact winning. So knowing that that was the opportunity ahead of me, it became impossible to say no. And having the opportunity to experience a different part of the country and to move and to be in Memphis, that was a huge part of it too. So that was my journey to the NBA. And 4 seasons there, really incredible. Got to work with a really great group of people. And when it was time to think of what was coming next, I have always been just a tremendous fan, admirer of the WNBA, of the players in this league. It's an incredible league. It's the best league in the world for women's basketball. So, and as Talisa mentioned, I had been coming to Storm practices over the years, and I think that was my first window into what was the WNBA. So it was sort of a natural progression, getting back to women's basketball, coaching the best women in the world, and that was really attractive to me.
Nico Tamarine, Como, good to see you again, Coach.
Nico.
We had talked a minute ago about having family ties to the area, and how, certainly you already knew the history and everything you mentioned about the franchise, but how did that help you understand that Seattle is a basketball town and just how uniquely special this franchise's place in this city really is?
You can feel it. As soon as you come here, you feel it. I've been to Storm games at Climate Pledge and up in Everett and over at UW, and wherever the teams play, the passion is there. The fan base goes everywhere. It's far-reaching. They're excited. They're supportive. They're knowledgeable. And you see it all the way from youth through college to here with the Storm, that women's basketball is really at the center of all of it. So I think being able to experience that for years before I've come here now in an official capacity was really influential for me. And it's exciting to know that now I get to be a part of all of that.
Bella Munson with the 9 basketball. For you, Sonia, just, it's been mentioned multiple times already, the relationships and how important those are to you. What do you think it is about yourself or your character that allows you or helps you to connect with players so well as the media coverage of you suggests?
I really care about every single player that I've ever coached and that I ever will coach. I care about them as people first. I think that's really important. I'm really interested in learning about their lives and not just what their goals are as basketball players, as professionals, or as student athletes, but what else about their lives is important to them. Who are the people around them that are important? I want to meet them. I want to get to know them as well. What are they interested in? And it starts there for me, and I really light up when I get to build those relationships. And then the other part of it is, how can you help people along the way in their journeys? I've had so many people impact me in my journey. How do I impact them in their journey to really become the pros that they want to be? And whether they're rookies or they're seasoned vets, everybody has goals and passions and reasons why they play the sport and how they connect to the sport. And I want to find out what those things are so that I can motivate them and continue to develop them to be the best they can be for themselves, and then, of course, for the organization as well that benefits.
Mike Varell, Seattle Times. For Talisa, 2 questions really. Just one, when you went into the search, what were the characteristics that you knew that you needed in your next coach? And then also, considering the way that last season ended, how close do you think this organization was and is to being back to the championship caliber level that you, I'm sure, expect?
Yeah. I think we were looking for someone that's been a leader and has been a head coach, and Sonia's done that for over a decade during her career. Someone that can really connect with players and help get them to the next level that they want to be. And so the relationship building and the player development that we've talked about was really critical to that. And then, as I mentioned, someone who's, coming with different perspectives, different ideas, a way to advance, what we're doing offensively, defensively, special teams wise, as a team collectively. So those were the key areas. And then, also aligning with our vision, our organizational values, and how we, want to show up in the community. I think that our team has a lot of really great players coming off of last season, a lot of great pieces in a foundation to really build and move forward. I think we were close last year to getting over that hump and had some really good moments and, some moments we wish could have gone another way. But looking back, I think we continue to build year over year, a really strong foundation. And so really excited to partner with Sonia, get to know, what types of players, will best fit her system and be able to make those changes in this offseason.
Hi, Sonia. Charles Hamaker with Circling Seattle Sports. I just want to ask you talk about the development side of things. And obviously a team is more than just a few players, but was it enticing at all to look at the opportunity to develop and coach a Dominique Malonga and a Jordan Horston? Did you have any thought about that, going throughout this process?
Absolutely. Really excited, of course, for the whole team, but, in particular, the players that you mentioned, both really special players, unique talents, very, almost positionless. You can play them anywhere on the floor, and they have so much that they can bring, and they're so young. So what can they be? And the future of what they can do individually and what we can all do collectively was really enticing.
Ariel Orsuto, King 5. My question's for Talisa, and hold on one second, I have to adjust my camera because I'm by myself over here. While you were searching for your next head coach, obviously this offseason is so crucial with free agency. Were you thinking about somebody who would be a really good counterpart of bringing in, free agents as far as the way that they are able to build relationships with players?
Yeah, absolutely. It's essential to what we do. And, players, they want to come for, the organization, what we're able to provide, how we can further improve their career, but the connection with the head coach is, really where it starts. And so it's critical for us that we feel like we have a partner in that and someone that the players will really connect with and really buy into their vision on how Sonia and her staff can take them to their next level.
Coach, as the first person of Indian descent to become a head coach in WNBA history, how does this milestone resonate with you personally, and what does it mean for the broader Asian American community, particularly in Seattle, where Asian Americans comprise 17% of the population?
Thank you for that question. It's a tremendous honor and a privilege to be sitting here and to be in that role. It's a huge responsibility as well, and I think, I've said this before, I want to be, I am the first, but I don't want to be the last. And so how does that connect to the community of Seattle and, of course, the greater Asian community? It's really important that I'm showing up every day, that I'm pouring into the players, to the organization, and then to the greater community, and that I'm doing my best so that I can, create these opportunities, open these doors, or just allow this next generation to see what's possible. And I'm very excited for the community here in Seattle and to get to know them more in the months and years to come.
Hey, Coach, right here. Cameron Buford, Voice of the Fans Digital Magazine. My question is for you about analytics. How do you plan to balance analytics between the feel or the gut or the play, the actual play on the court, and making your decisions and determinations?
Yeah, I mean, you said it, right? It can't just be analytics. You have to balance it. I think that one of the things I bring in is a strong analytics background, but I'm a basketball coach, and I learned basketball before I knew anything about analytics. I think that analytics is a really great tool to use. It's one of many tools, but you have to really know the game and have a feel for the game and understand what you're coaching, understand where the exceptions are, and sometimes the exceptions to what the analytics say to do might also provide you with the answers to how you win in the margins. So it's a tool, it's a resource, but it doesn't always mean, what maybe people think it might mean. There's a way to do things where you're going to get to like a base offense or a base defense by following the analytics and the trends. But I think the best teams, there's always exceptions somewhere along the way. They're really great at something that other teams aren't as good at, and those things defy analytics. And so being able to unlock that and doing that with our group and having that feel, I think is really, really important.
We're going to take one question from Zoom. Jeff Brown, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, do you have a timetable for rounding out, building up your coaching staff, and what kind of characteristics are you looking for there?
I do not have a timetable for rounding out my staff. I'm looking for, first and foremost, people who are of very high character and are, going to work really hard, and they're going to fill my gaps. So I want to be able to collaborate. I'm really excited. Part of what drew me here is this collaboration that I get to have with Talisa everybody in this organization, and I want to bring in a staff that will collaborate with me and that we will work together to put into place all of the things that I just laid out in the vision, but no timetable right now.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes the media portion of today. We're going to just take a few pictures with Sonia and Talisa and some family and friends.